I always thought I had a good relationship with my son, Nathan. He's 16, smart, responsible, and mature for his age. He's never been the rebellious type, never given me any major trouble. But lately, something has changed. It started when he got a girlfriend, Emily. She's a great girl, polite, well-mannered, and seems to genuinely care about him. But shortly after they started dating, I noticed a shift. He became secretive, spending more time out of the house, often coming home exhausted. His grades started slipping, and I found out he had gotten a job without telling us. At first, I was upset. My husband and I have always believed that school should come first. We've never expected our kids to work while they're still students. We can afford to give Nathan whatever he needs, including money for dates and gifts. But when we confronted him, he was adamant. He didn't want to ask us for money. He wanted to be independent. I respected his reasoning, but I still worried. His final exams were coming up next year and his grades were already slipping. We tried to talk to him, to make him see that he didn't need to do this, but he refused to listen. So I made a mistake. I went behind his back and spoke to Emily, hoping she could help convince him to quit. To my relief, she understood my concerns and agreed that his academics were important. She promised to talk to him. But when she did, everything exploded. Nathan was furious. He felt betrayed, not just by me, but by Emily as well. They had a huge fight, and for the first time, I saw a side of my son I had never seen before. He stormed out of the house that night and didn't come home until the next morning. When I tried to talk to him, he just shut me out. That's when I started digging. I needed to know more about this job. He told us he was working as an entertainer, but what did that even mean? I knew he wasn't doing anything illegal, but something didn't sit right with me. So one evening I followed him. What I discovered left me speechless. Nathan wasn't just working as an entertainer, he was performing at underground parties, doing daring stunts and acts for a crowd of cheering teenagers and adults. He was pushing his limits, climbing on dangerous structures, jumping through fire hoops, and even engaging in fight performances. The more reckless his stunts, the more money he made. I watched in horror as my son, my 16-year-old boy, leaped from a high platform onto a stack of boxes, barely catching himself. The crowd roared. I felt sick. That night I confronted him. He was livid that I had followed him, but I didn't care. I told him he was risking his life for money he didn't even need. That if he got hurt, it wouldn't just affect him, it would break our family apart. And then he said something that shattered me. I'd rather take these risks than feel like a burden to you. That's when I realized the real issue wasn't the job, it was how he saw himself. No matter how many times we told him we were happy to provide for him, he felt like he had to prove something. Like he had to earn his place in our home. I held him that night as he finally broke down. He admitted that he had been feeling pressure from everything: school, his future, even being the kind of son we expected. He thought that by making his own money, by taking care of things himself, he would feel more in control. It took weeks of long conversations, therapy, and a lot of tears, but we finally got through to him. He quit the job. His grades improved. He started seeing himself as part of the family again, not just someone who had to prove his worth. And as for me, I learned that sometimes, even when you think you're doing what's best for your child, you can still make mistakes. But if you're willing to listen to truly listen, you can find your way back to each other. Because no job, no amount of money is worth losing your child. I will be very grateful to you if you subscribe to our channel